16 on talkSPORT with MBNA, the treble award-winning credit card provider.
It's England, the Inquest. I'm Adrian Durham. We're live in Paris. Nigel Adderley, who's been with the England squad all through the tournament, is with me. Jim Proudfoot, our commentator as well. Ray Wilkins, who's, let's just say, he's been forthright. Jim, you've got a question for Ray.
Yeah, Ray, just going back to where we were 2 or 3 minutes ago. I take on board what you say about the players not taking responsibility.
Yes.
So imagine that I give you 48 hours of the next international break and I say you've got carte blanche to go in and tell the players what you think of them. How do you get them now to take responsibility for these World Cup qualifiers and for the games going forward? What do you say to them?
No, Jim, you know, when players come together, and we all come together as players, and the manager can say really basically what he wants. We for me, at this moment in time, we are spending so much time on sports science, nutrition. Yeah, nutrition is so important as far as young men are concerned. But whenever they go and train, whenever they walk out onto a training field, they have a system in their training shirt whereby I know whether you've run 600 yards. Well, I'm not really concerned. My eyes are my gauge. I know whether you're working or whether you're not working. If you're not working, I won't pick you. And it's just one of those things, Jim. But, you know, somewhere along the line, we have to start getting to the fact whereby we just go and have a game of football. When you grow up as a young man, all you want to do is play football. The Welsh are proving exactly that. Gareth Bale comes back from Real Madrid as a world-class footballer. He has never been as happy as he is with this bunch of young men. And he's just having a giggle. That's what he's doing. He's having a giggle, and Chris has said to him, go and play. Go and play, Gareth, if it doesn't work out. But because in all fairness, Jim, has he really performed?
Gareth Bale hasn't performed. That's one of the one of the positives for Wales, that they're world-class players. I merely asked you the question.
I merely asked you the question. Has Cristiano Ronaldo performed?
Well, he's saying no, because he's not fit.
Absolutely. He hasn't performed. And these are world-class footballers. Somewhere along the line, they will play the game of their lives. And when they play, my goodness gracious me, it will beat us because we don't have the world-class ability.
Okay, so these footballers, these England players, we've been in Chantilly, Nigel and I. It's been incredible, ridiculous luxury they have been in, and they have been in a bubble. We spoke to one of the players who said he hadn't been out of the hotel. It's a 5-star hotel. It's probably more stars than that, to be honest. It's got a 2 Michelin star restaurant in it. The price of the food in there, I've had a look at the menu. I was going to take the missus. That's not going to happen. She's sitting over here. Sorry, love.
You tight wad.
It's ridiculous.
Get him to take you, my love.
But it's unbelievable.
No,
and that to me, Ray, is the messages are being sent to them. You're going to get all of this, and you don't have to do anything.
I had the greatest honour in my life, and not only to play for England, but also to go with the under-21s with Peter Taylor and Dave Sexton, God bless his soul. With the under-21s, the food wastage was embarrassing, absolutely embarrassing, to the state where I asked the young lady that was with the FA, I can't quite remember now, I do apologise, my love, and I said, you know, do not give these guys this for lunch and this for dinner. It was like 5 courses for starters, 5 courses for main course, and that was the same for dinner. Now this has to stop. You know, these guys are working class. They come out, 99.9% of people that play football come out of working class backgrounds. They're not used to what? And it's exactly what you're saying, Adrian. You do not need this lavish situation. You do not need it. We have to get back to basics whereby these young men go and play some football.
But they go through no hardship through that, and this is what Carragher was talking about with the academy bubble, the academy generation. They go through no hardship. We go back to not having to sweep the stands and all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely,
anymore.
absolutely.
So has all that stuff got to come back? And will that mean? Is it so simplistic? It's easy to say all of that comes back, and all of a sudden England will be fine.
No, not at all. Not at all. I had this conversation with Michael Emenalo whilst I was at Chelsea, and I'm sure that's why I'm sitting here now, Adrian, speaking to you, rather working down the road at Cobham, is the fact that we've got to get these young men cleaning boots again and realising what it is to become a professional footballer. because they don't do anything. I tried to get the Chelsea boys to do boots and clean the dressing rooms. I was a dinosaur, an absolute dinosaur, and it was health and safety in which they couldn't work. So that's why I'm now sitting here talking to you guys, and I thoroughly enjoy it, don't get me wrong.
But how come Gareth Bale has come through that same system and yet he's the way he is? There are Wales players who've come through those academies and they are the way they are. It's got to be down to the manager creating that set of circumstances.
You are
surely.
what you are as a person.
Well, how come they've all come through the
Gareth Bale
academies
just
and
gives
the
me the
Wales players
impression
seem
he's
so
a bloke.
different?
He's a proper bloke. Gareth Bale gives me the impression he's a proper human being. I don't know Gareth.
Yeah, but if you put, hang on, Ray, if you put Gareth Bale in the England team, in the England squad, would he all of a sudden start having a load of food, luxury food wastage? Would he be not popping out for a coffee in Chantilly? He'd be staying in the bubble of that luxury hotel?
Adrian, I'll give you another name that would make these guys work, and that's John Terry. Now, people keep saying to me on Twitter, and I'm going to get some absolute dog's abuse. As I sit here now, I'm apparently blasting the players on this Twitter account that you have. I don't have a Twitter account, by the way, fellas.
It's a good idea, mate.
No,
don't do it.
Adrian, I couldn't agree more. But the one person we should have taken to mould this group as a group of human beings was John Terry. I had the privilege many, many years ago, Adrian, and Kevin Keegan. I was at Fulham with Kevin Keegan. And cut long story short, Kevin said to me, you got a lot of money to spend on one player. I said, really? I said, I want Chris Coleman. And he had just done his Achilles, Chris, at Blackburn. And Keegan went, no, Ray. I said, a player. I said, no, I want a person. A person that can mould the haves that we were bringing into the club with the have-nots. And Coleman,
you were sold in by Roy Hodgson as well, weren't you?
Coleman,
Roy Hodgson. Yeah.
Coleman was the best man on the planet. Because I worked with Chris at Crystal Palace.
So that's the kind of guy we need in charge of England, surely. This is what we're saying, it's down to the manager.
No, it's not down to the manager, Adrian. What I'm saying is, he's a bloke. He's a bloke. He allows blokes to do what blokes do. You don't lock them away. You allow them to walk the streets. You allow them to do what they want to do. You can't take these young men away, Adrian. I was in Japan and I saw this hotel where England was staying. It was majestic, honestly. It was. The emperor would have been chuffed to have been staying in that hotel, but they were there on their own. No one was around them. They didn't go into the streets and meet the people. For God's sake, Adrian, these are young men. For God's sake, we've got to start treating. I perfectly understand where you're coming from, Jim. It's not football. It's football to the max, to 100%. But then you have to enjoy your life.
Hold on, Ray.
It's a simple question, Ray. Going back on this tournament, Wales scored from a set piece last night. They had their best player on set pieces, setting up the first goal. England have had Harry Kane on set pieces. Whose fault is that, the players or the manager?
No, the manager.
So he's got to take some responsibility.
I'm not saying that Roy doesn't take any responsibility. What I'm saying is there are certain situations whereby when a young man goes onto a football field, you start taking responsibility. That comes off the manager. He's picked you. You do your gig. Now, if the manager says Harry Kane's going to take a corner kick, I totally disagree with that 100%. But that's Roy's decision. And so we do it.
And his selections were his decision. He lives and dies by them.
Absolutely. That's why he loses his job.
Exactly. Where I do agree with you, Ray, is the players need to take more responsibility. Let's take a quick call. Loads of... I agree with you. The players need to take more responsibility.
Got to.
On the field. I would agree with that. Carl is a Liverpool fan. He's got something to say on this. How you doing, Carl?
Hello.
Carl, how you doing, buddy?
What's your thoughts?
Fine, thank you. I was listening to Ray and I wasn't sure I agreed with him, but that's okay. My actual thoughts are that sometimes when I hear football talk, it's as though football's different from any other sport or life in general. And I think England's problem is very, very simple. Since Venables, there hasn't been a manager who's had a very clear script that the players have been able to learn and practice and embed until when they are under pressure, they can still play. Last night I watched Belgium's faces and I watched Wales' faces. When Wales were one behind and under pressure, all the players, you could tell by the look on their face, they knew what their plan was and they were about it. when Belgium went down 1-2, look at their face on television. They don't know what's next. They don't know what they should be doing because their script wasn't clear, it wasn't embedded, and that's why they lost in the end. They had the better players, they had the more talent on the pitch. England just simply need an approach and an attitude and a manager that simply says, these are players that I've got. They have a certain level of skills. They're strong in certain areas. I'm going to try and fit them in those areas. Lampard and Gerrard can't play together. That's tough. They're both great, but they can't. Because of my system, Lampard, you're not playing today. Gerrard, you are, or vice versa. But that hasn't happened since Venables. And
Carl, you've raised a great point, and what we're going to do is we're going to digest that over the next. Hold on, Ray. We're going to digest it over the next few minutes.
Cutting me off.
No, but you're going to be back. You're going to be back after the news and sport.
From the glass.
It's a brilliant call.
Now.
No. Roy's plan. We didn't know what it was. Did he know what it was? We'll take more of your calls shortly on talkSPORT.
She wore blue velvet, bluer than velvet was the night. Softer than satin was the light from the stars.